welcome to the Broker to Broker podcast, brought to you by AIM, Association of Independent Mortgage Experts. I'm your host, JP Hussey of the Hussey Team Mortgage Advisors. And today we have our guest, Barb Multari. Right? I got it?
Perfect.
If I was, obviously I'm not Italian. Look at
I'm not either.
I'm like a leprechaun. Okay.
Right.
Well, you had said it perfectly earlier, and I said I wasn't going to try the Italian version because that's just not me. Anyway, how are you?
We could do some quick air kisses. You know, that's why the Italians are in so much trouble with COVID because of the hugging and kissing and
Yeah. And we were just talking. You have a couple kids at home, right? One's taking the AP test. You stole your son's headphones for this. Yeah. So we're making do, right? Through all this. You got to do it. You're in your kitchen. You have a sheet down. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to innovate. We're in new times. We have to innovate.
That's right. And I didn't mention it's Pathway Mortgage Group, right?
That's correct.
All right, cool. President, owner, loan officer, You guys do it all.
Yeah.
And right now it's more of a wife and husband duo, right? Which got me curious. Yeah. That's really cool. And we were talking yesterday, we're kind of on the same path, right? You've been just over a year since you guys started your brokerage. We're just over a year as well. I spent 9 years in the retail world. I think you guys are a bit longer. But this is going to be a great conversation because we're going through a lot of the same things with growing our business, maybe taking a couple steps back because of COVID and all this jazz. But I think this should be a great combo.
I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. So to get started, let's give everyone a background of, like I just touched on it a bit, but coming from retail, how long you've been in the business. Give us a quick rundown.
I started in the business in 2006.
Okay.
We lived in the Silicon Valley in California at that time. We made a lifestyle choice to move across the country. That's a story for another day. To South Carolina, where we spent a couple of years, right as the mortgage industry was going off the cliff. And that's when I started in the business. So I didn't know the good times when we had stated income loans and all that, and all you did was pull somebody's credit and close them. So 2006, we were there. That turned out to not be the best fit for our family, and the market was also really tough there in the 2008, 2009 timeframe. So we did some research for about a year. We decided to move to the Raleigh, North Carolina market. We moved at the end of 2009. We didn't know anybody, not a single person here. So we came here, started from scratch. The really, really good thing that did for us is at that point in time, rates had dropped down. So everybody was refinancing. Well, we didn't have a book of business to refinance. So we had to get out and meet real estate agents. And that is probably the best gift that we could have had at that time, is to be starting from scratch and have to go out and form relationships and be of value to real estate agents. And that's where most of our business comes from. So we worked in retail up until, we just couldn't quite find the right fit in retail where we could take the best care of our clients with the best terms, with the best product offering. That was also a good fit for us personally. So we, thank goodness for social media and the efforts of the AIM group as it was getting started. All the things that we are trained in retail to know about brokers couldn't be further from the truth. So as we investigated more, then we decided it would be the best fit for our customers, our realtor partners, and for us personally to go out on our own and open a brokerage. So we did that, officially closed our first loan February 28th of last year.
Nice. Congrats. Yeah. Could you dive in maybe a little bit more of, because you're so fresh as well, like myself and our brokerage, more detail of why the broker world made sense for your business? Because you guys are small. It's you and your husband. You have to be flexible. We were talking a little bit about pricing yesterday and not that flexibility. Maybe a little bit more detail of why you decided, after vetting it through, the broker side's the best thing for your type of brokerage and the small type brokers that you have.
Yeah, consistently for years now, I personally have originated somewhere between 50 and 55 million a year, primarily purchase business, mostly conventional. I have a pretty clean book of business. Certainly didn't start that way. When we first moved here to the area, we worked every lead we could get. And we've really worked over the years to have the kind of execution that we can attract high producing realtors to be partnered with. And so the lack of autonomy and control, I think, is what I struggled with in retail. Having our own identity, brand identity, that the retail lenders started to, compliance wise, understandably, can't send your own video out without it going through compliance. And then just not having control over whatever their agenda was with interest rates, when really what I want to do is give our clients great rates and great execution.
You want to be fair, at least. And that's what it is, really. And what you hit on was there was a lack of control on that side, where the misconception is we don't have control in the broker channel. And it's funny how that works because of all the things that you hear when you're making the transition. I spent months looking into this, and you just couldn't get the right answer. So it is cool, like you said.
When I was retail, I never lost a loan to a broker.
Yeah, same.
I knew how to sell against that.
Yeah.
But none of that's true. So educating our realtors and educating the public at large about why brokers are better has been pretty important too.
Yeah. To be as transparent as you want to be, what were some of the challenges when you were starting it up? Because it's literally, it's owning a company. There's a lot of back end. Where are some pitfalls or downfalls you kind of struggled with?
Well, I think you put on a few more hats that other departments took care of when you were in retail. Compliance, the last retail shop we were in, if the disclosures weren't out by 3:00 on day 2, you started getting $1,000 fine emails. So getting those compliance pieces in place, making sure we're operating compliantly, ethically, finding the right vendor partners. We have an HR consultant, we have a bookkeeper. We went through a few different bookkeepers and a few different accounting firms before we found the right match for us. So some of those operational pieces that support the business, getting on the right LOS, getting the right CRM in place, which is great to have the choice in those things, because working for a large corporation, they pick and then you deal with it. But then you have to do all that vetting and choosing and, just figuring out which lenders to work with and hiring processors and understanding that piece. And we just got audited by the state of North Carolina. So just making sure all of that is in order, because other other departments were handling that when we were retail.
Yeah. Now, when I speak to a lot of people in these podcasts, and everyone's different. Everyone's brokerage is different. It's different in size, right? And you handle things differently. But would you have, if you were just a loan officer, would you say for someone to maybe go join a brokerage before going out and opening their own, because of all these things that you're talking about in the beginning? What's your take on that?
I would say yes, just off the top of my head. I think it would depend too. If they're just doing a couple loans a month, they can probably handle that, doing their own thing. It depends on how ambitious they are and what they want to do. And they could go work for a great broker and get themselves established and growing. And if they wanted to go out on their own and take all those risks, they certainly could. But I think for most originators, business ownership probably isn't the right thing.
Yeah, I think you hit it. Volume is key, depending on if you open or not. Because if you're doing, let's say you're doing 50 loans a year, okay, and it's just you. Yeah, maybe you can get through that and you can handle that. I think once you start hitting, 120 loans a year, then it gets more difficult. You need that support staff. So I think you hit that with volume is key, depending if you're going to open up your own shop or go join someone. And that's a lifestyle thing. And that's what I love about our channel. You can kind of make it what you want depending on your lifestyle. which is pretty cool. And then to dive into that, so we haven't brought him up yet, but you and your husband, you own the company together. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah,
Okay,
we do.
Cool. And he's been in the business as long as you as well?
Yeah, he might have actually lured me in when I was pregnant and not thinking clearly.
Right?
I don't know, right? No, he's been in the business a few years longer than I have. I was in financial planning prior to joining the mortgage business. And prior to that, I have an engineering degree. So I was doing, other jobs along that line.
You're the type of client that nobody wants, right? The engineer?
No, I'm not. No, I know what you mean, but so here's the funny thing about engineers, and my team knows this too. If we get a client who is an engineer, they know right away to tell that person, oh, you're going to love working with Barb because she's an engineer. Engineers are a little hoity-toity about the knowledge level of other people. And so when they hear someone else is an engineer, they automatically, plus I can make a spreadsheet if I need to and do an analysis and get them all the data they need. But yes, engineers, they can be difficult.
That's just a thing in our industry. You always hear it. Oh, we got an engineer, So I figured I'd bring that up. So back to you and your husband. What's that like? I mean, if we're going back to lifestyle and business, right? You guys work together, you live together, the whole thing. Like, how has that gone over the years? I mean, I'm sure it's not perfect, right? But maybe how's it split up? How are the tasks split up? Who does what?
Yeah, so we've had a couple of different versions of that over the years. Initially, when we worked together, we both were just individual loan officers. I was doing my thing, working to get my realtor base and originate loans, and he was as well. At some point in there, we got the advice to do a DISC assessment, and we found out that if you smush us together, we make one really good person in terms of our talents and skills and the nature of our, ways of being. So then we separated into where I'm really good at the originating, the client consultations, the analyzing what the borrower should be doing and going through their options with them. When we were in retail, he ran the branch. So he hired the loan officers and worked the sales meetings with them and did all the business development for the team, and also had usually somewhere around 10 loan officers working for him.
Cool.
As we've come back into, as we've moved into Pathway Mortgage Group, we've changed that a little bit. He's come back into origination. We both have. The way our team was set up prior to coming into brokerage, when we opened the brokerage, I wanted to get closer to the customer. I felt like I had gotten too far away, had put a big team in place, and wasn't close to the customer and their needs anymore. So the two of us came back into the front end of originating. We still have a team. They're doing a lot of support and administration, but the client consultations are done with us. And that way, we're close to the borrower. We know exactly, we make the promises to them, and then the team gets everything done. So we're both back into originating again, and I'm doing more of the working on some different strategies for how we're going to grow into the future. And he's having a fun time just working with the clients again. That's
cool. Yeah. I mean, it's funny how this business does go in cycles. When you're in the retail side, right? And I'm not here to bash them at all. That could be great for anyone else, right? Yeah. But sometimes when you're in that side, they really want you to recruit, right? Mm-hmm. And grow this big team. Yeah. I always struggled with that because it wasn't all about money, but I'm spending a lot of time and you're not making enough, right? So you have to have like you said, you had like 10 loan officers, right? So I can see that where you guys, maybe more your husband, like you said, was managing all of this, and then you get this disconnect. Yeah. And that's what I love about the broker channel and the smaller type brokerage, because you can spend more time with the client. And that's what really gets us going, rather than just managing other people in the business. Because we all know, and this is a blanket statement, LOs, we're the worst people.
Oh, we're the worst.
We're the worst, right? So that's tough. So that's pretty
Here's cool. A napkin. Go, go, go. Right.
Yeah. So right now you're doing a lot of the originating and the consultations. And then what's your husband doing right now? Is he are you guys both going for realtors more, speaking with them, or?
Yeah, so he's come more into the originations and consultations as well. So we're working on, I know one of the questions on your questionnaire was to talk about the development of realtor relationships.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
stop me if we
No,
get
not
there.
at all.
So we have, we've been 10 years in this market, and we've really worked to, first of all, have excellence in our execution. We understand that our number one job is to make the realtor look good. That is our number one job.
Mm-hmm.
And we do that by closing on time, delivering an amazing experience for the clients, having competitive options for them, so that when they get to the closing table, they look at the realtor and say, these guys were amazing. I am so glad you referred me to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's our number one job, is to make the realtor look good. And
Cool.
realtors like to look good, so that's a good match.
Yeah.
So that's what we focus on with all the communications we do with our realtors. We do, not right now, but we do lunch and learns. We do different small, more intimate settings with them, where we work on what their business plan is and what tools and things we can bring to them to help them grow and do what they want to do. We're always looking to be in a position of, how can we help you? What are you up to? What are you trying to accomplish? How can we help you? And that's how we start any conversation we have with any prospective real estate agent working together. And then one of the things, once you find one of those good agents who's well connected, for all you brokers listening out there, they know people, right? Then you ask them, hey, I'm helping you do these things. Can you help me do this one thing? Who in your office do I need to meet? Can we get a lunch put together? And that's how we've branched out over time, is we've had some really good realtors who we do an outstanding job for their clients and for them. And they're good advocates. And so they connect us with other people and say, hey, you need to work with Barb, or you need to work with Franco. And then we just keep in close contact with them all the time. We reach out at different times. We send videos. We really work to have personal relationships with them, and with our borrowers as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. What when you just mentioned videos, what are you doing there? Is it just points in the loan where you're sending these videos out? Like, what are you using? Could you go in a little bit more detail there that could help some people out?
Yeah, we use BombBomb.
Cool.
Sometimes I just record a video right on my phone and just
I do that too. Yeah.
Happy birthday. Like, I'll send happy birthday video to a past client. I'll send something out to a realtor. Hey, I saw the kids were doing this weekend. It's so cute. So those personal touches with people. We're working on, which is not quite complete yet, but we are working on the video milestones.
Cool.
I was supposed to do some videos at the end of March. That got delayed a little bit.
Sure.
Because we're working on increasing the quality and the quantity of communication we do that's impactful for the clients. But we use BombBomb. We're transitioning to Whiteboard CRM right now. I have an onboarding call this afternoon. It's been one of the things we have kind of struggled to find the right CRM, which is the question that gets asked all the time in the broker group. And that way we can make those communications more efficient and more automated than what we're doing right now.
So you're thinking about integrating BombBomb into Whiteboard that does that?
Yeah, you can't embed in there, but you can link. You can do a link. Yeah,
and you have your onboarding call, so obviously you don't know everything quite yet. Okay, cool. So what about now with COVID, coronavirus, whatever they call it? Like, how are you staying in touch? Like, what are some techniques right now with your real estate agents? Like, what are you talking to them about? Because they're probably freaking out a lot more than us at this point.
Yeah, fortunately, our market has stayed more stable than I anticipated here. And I think I've seen agents go one of two directions. They've either, paralyzed with the chaos of what's going on, or they've really, just exploited the situation.
Okay.
We've still had a solid amount of purchase activity here, which I am still a little bit surprised by.
It's good.
But we've FaceTimed with them. We've done Zoom happy hours. We've just shared, like, here's what's going on. We've, given heads up about guideline changes and things coming, so that either they personally know or they can communicate that to their clients. We've communicated about forbearance. We've let them know, hey, when you're at a listing appointment, you need to check with the client, make sure that they've stayed current on their mortgage payments, because if they haven't, they may not be able to. So little pieces of information that don't add to the fear that's out there right now, but are things that can help them, motivational emails sent out, and sometimes just calling and going, hey, how you doing? Right?
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask. And I know you're still working on your CRM and whatnot, but when you're gathering this info, are these things you're putting together, sending out on like a Monday or a Tuesday? I'm trying to figure out your day and how you're communicating, because I could do a better job. So I'm trying to pick your brain on that.
Well, I don't think it has not been that organized in COVID.
Sure.
Aside from that, we're very organized. We have theme days. Mondays we do this. Tuesdays we do this. Wednesdays we do this. So we have theme days as it relates to activities with real estate agents. During COVID, it's certainly not been that well planned out. It's been more like, oh, hey, we should call people and do this. But just being in touch with them, just checking in with them, just calling and saying hi. Like, we're all trying to sort out what's going on right now. Still, none of us know. And still the data isn't telling us useful facts about what's going to happen and how we're doing. So also just checking in with people and being there to hear and ask how they're doing and how their mental state is and how their homeschooling's going, and just not calling about business. But
that's what I was gonna say. I mean, it sounds like we do business kind of the same way. It's true relationships.
Yeah,
can't be business all the time, because our life in real estate and mortgage, your life is so intertwined. Right? It's all business. It's everything. So I think that's key to put out is don't just be businessy all the time. We get the calls from like account executives from other lenders, and it's just like, rates are great. This is where we're at. And it's like, delete. Like, there's no connection there.
Right.
So it really sounds like, and you guys started from the bottom in North Carolina. You've built this. I mean, to a spot, like you said yesterday, you're not asking for business right now. It's just coming to you. So it's managing everything, but that's the groundwork you guys put into it. Yeah. So like, if someone were to start today to build their purchase side, like, what would you tell them? Like, start pounding the phones, get on social media, just cast a wide net and try to form those relationships?
Yes, and yes.
Yeah.
So one of the things I have experienced being a broker is all the account executives calling you. And I said one day, I truly hope that this is not how the real estate agents feel, with all the lenders, sending them emails that they send to everybody, sending a text message about our rates are great. So I think everybody knows people, and everybody knows somebody who knows a realtor. So if you don't have any connections with any realtor at all, you have connections with other people. Talk to those people, let them know what you're up to, find out who they know, find out something about them. The beauty of social media now is you can find out almost anything you want to find out about people. Do they have kids? Do they like sports? Who's their team? What were they up to last week? I mean, most people have their profiles public. You can find out all sorts of information about them ahead of time, before you call, before you text, etc., to where you can make a personal connection to them. But I would start with your sphere. Who are the people you know, and who do they know? Because you already have some secondhand trust there. Well, Joe told me to talk to Sally, and you can even say, hey, Joe, can you give Sally a call and just let her know? I'm just going to reach out and would love to chat with her for a few minutes, find out what her perspective. Realtors like to be heard, seen, respected for their opinion. Would you ask her if I could reach out to her, or let her know I'm going to reach out to her? I'd like 5 minutes of her perspective on what's going on in the market right now, so I can share it with the people I know. And just find a spot where it's important to the agent to share their message. There are also lots of social media sites you can go on. The neighborhoods all have a Facebook page. The schools all have, little community pages. There are so many places where we can connect with people. When we first came to North Carolina, that's what we did. We started a Facebook page, and that was 10 years ago. And that's how we got connected with one of our agents we're still working with today. I did 30 closings with her last year.
That's awesome.
We met on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very important. You said, talk with your sphere of influence, because we do a mix. I think you guys do, where it's consumer direct, where you have friends, past clients referring you, and then they may not have a realtor. I mean, that's in one of our checklists. Like, do you have a realtor? If not, let me try and recommend you. That's huge. So you have to have a mix of going after real estate agents, but then having the consumer direct from an organic level, because then you can go and take that referral to an agent. Like, the script's really been flipped over the past 5-6 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
Where I always see the pecking order, real estate agent, mortgage, title, escrow, whatever. It's kind of just all mixed up right now. So I think that's huge that you said that, because that's another way that I think has worked for us. I'm sure it's worked for you.
Yeah, and we're along those lines. I think it is. We have a couple strategies we're working on right now that are to really dig into that more organic side of our growth, because it has become harder over time for the realtors to refer us or any loan officer, because people have started to come to them already pre-approved, or prior to COVID, Open Door owned 30% of the properties in this market. So not only is the realtor not able to refer the client to us because they already have a pre-approval, they aren't even getting to the client themselves. So having that organic, and it started working on our Google reviews. I mean, we only have 20, and I'm paying, I think, $60 a month for some keywords. We have had every week, a solid purchase referral. Sometimes they have a realtor already, but they just searched. They just searched for the best mortgages and carrier best mortgages in Raleigh. But every week we've had an inquiry, and in the past 4 we've been able to refer 2 of them out to realtors.
Cool.
And we're really not doing much on that front, but the videos we were set to record at the end of March, that didn't happen. We're signed up with Verse.io. We're getting ready to do some stuff with them. We're on Lead Pops. We're getting ready to do some ads there. So we're really going to work on, and then just some local community-based podcasts, videos, etc., so we can grow the organic piece of our business to round out what we're doing and to be able to refer people back.
Yeah, I think it's really cool what you're saying, because I think some people get confused on, all right, let's do Facebook ads. Let's do this, let's do that, right? And just trying to pay to get leads, which is all well and good depending on the type of shop that you're running, right? But what you're doing is you've built your business, you have the Google reviews, you have a lot about who you guys are as people and in business, and then using technology to put that out there. I think people get confused, like, let's just throw money here and just try and get leads.
Well, we've done that before too.
Let's pay, yeah, we've all done that.
We learned,
right?
yeah.
That's why we're talking. We know what works, and especially for a small shop trying to do that 50, 60, 70 million, like that's a great sweet spot. But using what you have done already, organically getting out, pay a little bit to get it out there.
Yeah.
But it's not like lead forms. It's just just putting it out there nicely and hoping they call, because that's the type of client you really want. Right? Someone that's going to know who you are a little bit before they even call you. They trust you already, is what I'm saying, before they even talk to you.
They've checked you out. They've looked at things. They've established some level of credibility by looking at your stuff enough to reach out to you and say, hey, I want to talk to you about a mortgage.
Yeah. Real quick, on the Verse.io, right? I haven't looked into that too much. Could you explain what that is a bit?
Yeah. So in the times that we have run Facebook ads, we aren't staffed, number one, nor are we scripted and set up to manage incoming leads. That kind of lead is a different lead than a warm referral. That kind of lead you need to act on quickly, correspond with quickly.
Yep.
If they email you at 9:00 on Saturday night, I'm going to try not to answer that phone call. So Verse.io, they're one of the partners of AIM and Brokers Are Better. They're your Salesforce to do that kind of work.
Okay.
They will call, they will text, they will set up the email campaigns, and they work with you, which is what we're in the midst of right now, with setting your scripts, They position themselves as a member of your team. They say, hi, this is Amber with the Pathway Mortgage Group. I saw your inquiry. So they present themselves as an extension of your team, and they work to nurture and warm up that referral and get them to the point where they schedule an appointment with you.
Okay.
And so that's Scott Shang has had some.
Yeah, Scott's the man.
I've actually talked to a couple other brokers who've been very generous with their time with what they're doing with Verse.io, HomeBot, and their CRM system. One of them actually has it set up so the lead goes in and does a soft credit pull, and then depending on what score comes back, it directs them in different ways depending on where their score. Because some of the online leads are junky.
Oh yeah. And like you said, like if you have a larger shop with 10, 12 LOs and you run it that way, that could be the best way to go. And maybe something that you guys look into in the future. But what I'm trying to get through is everybody's different. Everyone's brokerage is different. Every LO is different. So, you know, not be careful, but look at what each product is before you jump in. We've all been through it.
We like shiny objects.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to someone earlier. We're about to hire a new like marketing admin to organize us and get everything together. And that's what I said. I'm like, listen, I have all this stuff, but you're going to quickly realize that loan originators are go, go, go. And we get sold a lot shiny objects, right? And that's why it is good with AIM and Brokers Are Better, because they are truly vetting that stuff out to make sure it is something that is true benefit to the community. Yeah. And that's what I love about the transparency of AIM and whatnot. That's great. All right. We only have like 10, 15 minutes left. We've gone 30, which is crazy, right? We could talk
as bad as I thought.
I would love to get a quick rundown of once you do have a lead, take us through the process until closing as best as you can. Like verbal application, is it online? Like what are you doing in that sense?
Yep. So I'm either calling them or my assistant, Mariana. She's been with us 5 years. She's delightful. Awesome. People try to hire her away from us all the time. So I'll have an initial conversation, or she'll set up an initial conversation that's a 10-minute discovery conversation. Okay. Talk to them about what their goals are. I don't have a sheet in front of me here, but there's a series of questions I go through. You know, who referred you? What did they say about us? Okay, I always ask people that because it tells me how I'm positioned in the sales conversation. Yeah. Oh, they said to call 3 lenders and find the best. Or they said you were amazing. Don't talk to anybody else. It also gives me an opportunity to coach the realtors, because if they know we always get the job done and they don't want their people to end up anywhere else, we can help them with how to refer people to us so that connection is strong right away. And so that helps me know how to coach the realtors as well with how they refer. So I always ask them, who referred you? What did they say about us? Who referred you? And then I say, oh, she's amazing. How did you get connected with her? Sure. And they'll tell me, oh, Joe knew, or I found her on the internet, and I'll work to validate and strengthen their opinion of their realtor. Cool. Then I'll ask, well, what did they say about working with us? And they'll say whatever they say. And I'll let them know we have 3 simple steps we go through. First, we have a discovery conversation, which is what we're going to do right now, where we talk about your goals. Second, you're going to go through the steps to get me some data and information so I can look at your borrowing profile and how it matches up to your goals. And the third thing we'll do is we'll come back together for a consultation. That's 45 minutes to an hour, where we talk through all of your options. We compare them. That way you can be well informed and well educated and make good financial decisions for yourself and your family. We'll also talk about the mortgage process and the market today and what to expect, so that your only job after that will be to go find the right house, and we'll take care of everything from there. So we have a short conversation where I ask them a few questions, and then I ask them to pull up their calendar, because you always want to have them in the next action with you. Okay. The next commitment with you, the next step with you. Mm-hmm. Don't say, oh yeah, go check and get back to me. Well, because they may or they may not. Right. So then I'll say, okay, Tuesday, when usually we meet in person with people, but now we're doing Zoom calls because that's what's going on right now. So I say, you know, do you have time on Tuesday? You need to make sure we can video conference together because I'm going to share some things on my screen with you. And I also want to see them and I want them to see me because I can read what's going on and, you know, they can also stare me down and, you know, make sure they can trust me.
Yeah, sure.
And then I'll say, I'm going to hang up the phone. You're going to get 2 emails from me. One's going to be the link to the secure online application. Fill all your information in there. Please upload your documents. Because one of the things we do is we put Pathway puts a $5,000 guarantee with our pre-qualification letters.
Whoa, that's interesting. Right. Okay. Put your money where your mouth is. I love it. You have skin in the game.
But I won't do that if they don't get their skin in the game.
I like that. Okay.
We're in a competitive market here. If they aren't going to give me their documents, I'm not going to put my $5,000 behind them.
Okay.
I present that a little bit more friendly than I just
Sure.
said that.
Sure.
But I let them know it's very competitive here. We're often in multiple offer situations. And a lot of times that $5,000 commitment makes the difference in you getting the house or not. So we need to get all your documents in, check all that out. That's what lets me issue that guarantee for you. And they're like, okay. And then I try to keep things moving quickly. So I say, you know, can you have your application in by 5 o'clock tomorrow? And then we'll talk on Thursday morning at 10. So I keep them in the next quick step with me. Then we do a, you know, 45 minutes to an hour consultation. And then they go off house hunting. And then we stay in touch. We have what we call a shopper list. And so we have a drip campaign of, of educational information that goes out to them and some text messages and a couple of voice drops that drip out to them over a 12-week period. We call them too. But we have some automations there that, you know, once they have pre-qualified, that we keep in touch with them and stay top of mind with them. And then once they go under contract, we have a really great welcome email that we send out to try to standardize things and make proactive communication from all the things that always come up.
Sure.
We send that out right away. Like, we're excited, yay, congratulations, you know, here's what we're going to be doing, here's what you need to do. And then my assistant calls and schedules a conversation with me to go over the contract terms, talk about next steps, settle their rate, get them locked in, get their disclosures on, and get everything going. And then we do updates every Tuesday. From there, we coached with the core for a while.
Okay.
So Tuesday updates. So we call the clients every Tuesday and the realtors every Tuesday. And then we also have the milestone communications as well. And then we have a great email we send out with the CD. I try to go to my closings, but can't these days.
Right.
So then I'm just sending a quick video out to people on the day of their closing and calling them and congratulating them. And then we send a gift out as well.
That's awesome.
So
I mean, that was probably one of the more detailed processes that I've gotten from someone, which is great. I mean, you guys have it nailed down. I mean, we spoke yesterday and you're like, listen, we need the processor, you know.
We do.
Yeah, well, you do. I know she's back maybe part-time a bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is great because in these type of markets where with COVID, you don't know what's happening. People might lose jobs. Hey, people have babies, you know, the whole thing. If you have the processes in place, then you can kind of plug and play a bit. Or if you don't have the right people, you can just do it yourself like you guys are doing for the time being because you have the processes in place. I mean, it sounds super simple, but this is what all the top producers say. Processes. I mean, it's key. So
systems. I mean, if you look at some other industry, like take a chef, for example, it's chicken or beef. Well, there's no beef right now, but chicken or beef or fish or some vegetarian dish. That's all they do all day long. That's it, over and over and over and over again. But each time they do it a little bit different, or they make a new one here, or they do this. It's how they dress it up that makes it a great experience for the client. But it's the same thing over and over and over again. And just taking we have our team has once a month download, and we talk about what things did we do great last month? What things could we have done better? And that's where we make those little tweaks to what we're doing. And we also we Zoom every morning at 9 a.m. for 15 minutes. What's everybody working on today? What are the new contracts that came in? who hasn't signed their disclosures, like that. So we stay right on top of where are we with numbers every day? Where are we? We have a referral goal every month. Where are we? Are we ahead, behind? If we're behind, what action can we do to make up that gap so that we don't get to the end of the month and go, oh, we only got 12 referrals this month instead of 30, which was our goal. So we're always trying to systematize and make those things that are repetitive, simple, easy, and efficient.
And that might sound, boring, repetitive, but every single client, like we know, is different. That's what kind of brings a little life back into it. You have the process, but then I think the client will keep us on our toes.
Always. Yeah. Always. And every time I think I've seen it all.
Yeah, right.
Here comes another one.
But it's awesome. That's cool. I can tell you enjoy it. I can see it in you. Yeah. Even though you're working on new things, you like it. You enjoy it. So that's cool. That's cool to see.
Yeah.
All right. So we have like 5-10 minutes. All right.
Okay.
So I do like to ask, where do you see the industry in 3 to 5 years? Things seem to rapidly grow as we go through time with technology, let's say. But where do you see the industry in 3 to 5 years?
That's an interesting question. I know they keep trying to get rid of us, push button, get mortgage. I do think that, as I said a little bit earlier, I do think that having a local reputation, organic reputation, is going to become critically important. If you look at years ago now, when you became able to make your own trades on E-Trade, right? Well, we could all go manage our own portfolios if we wanted to. We could. And a lot of people have done that. But there's still a whole segment of the population that wants good advice. They want to be educated about their options. They want to analyze different scenarios. So I think as our market splinters, I don't know how the technology, at least not what I can see right now, can look at, should you do single premium mortgage insurance? Should you put 10% down instead of 5% down? I do think people will always seek out that advice. However, we are a technologically advancing society, which I think is more pronounced right now as people are having to do things that they were, ahead of time. Like my daughter's taking the AP exam. Everybody's logging in this week, taking the first worldwide virtual AP exam.
Right.
So I think there will continue to be more and more technology in our process that tries to create efficiencies and remove humans. So our local connections, our spheres, we have to get better at that in order to maintain business. It's going to be harder for realtors to refer us. They're under pressure too, to have, Zillow sell their house instead of spending, 3% over here with an agent. So I think that local, and I would say we're behind, all of us, most of us, not all of us, with building that piece of our businesses out. So if I can give anything to everybody listening today, work on your local reputation, your relationships, because as the large lenders of the world, whose names I'm not going to mention, continue to buy market share, our voice needs to be heard, and we need to be known and seen out there. So I think a lot more technological advances will happen. I hope that the sound advice of an advisory type loan officer will still be relevant and important. But I think a lot of the, simple mundane things are going to get automated as much as they can.
Yeah. And I agree with you. And I think technology will continue to advance, like you said, but hopefully that just makes the advisor's job a bit easier, so then they can give the correct information to the client with things that a robot can't do. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think you nailed it, and I think you guys are in a great spot. That's great.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think you are. Last question. No matter if you've been in the business 20 years, and I think you maybe already answered this, or if you're brand new, like, what's one piece of advice that you can give just the loan officer out there in today's environment? Now, it could be, like you said, staying local and building that, but is there just one thing in your mind that you would tell someone?
Well, it probably sounds cliche, but your mindset is really everything. And I think with the disruption we've had recently, it's been kind of interesting to watch, including myself, our skill or lack of skill in managing our mental strength through all of what's going on. And, you know, the mortgage business is tough. People rate shop you, and realtors, you know, they'll leave you for somebody else in a hot minute. So I think, you know, you have to have thick skin to be in this business. Things go wrong. You know, you put a loan in with a new lender and their turn times aren't what they promised you. You've got to have great communication with people. You've got to have mental strength in this. So whatever practices people need to do to be mentally strong and to know that they're going to get rejected and people are going to leave them for someone else or go somewhere else or do the online, you can't take that stuff personally. It's just part of business, and you have to keep moving forward, and every day find some way to move forward into whatever your ambition is, so you can fulfill that.
That's awesome. I think that's the perfect way to end it. So go get your mental strength out there and push through and have thick skin. But that's the truth right there, and I don't think that's cliche. I think that's the truth. Awesome. Well, thank you, Barb. It was a pleasure speaking with you. I hope I could pick your brain some more on the outside. If you need anything from me, of course, reach out. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. This was Barb Multari. I got it. Pathway Mortgage Group. Thanks again, Barb.
Thanks, JP. Have a great day.
All right, you too.